There's the Roman army moving up to number 8. It's just so strange to see Alabama with 2 losses.
Yeah, especially at this point in the year.
Yeah. So Utah, Clemson, Alabama, that's your bottom of the top 10 there. We're going to talk scenarios all week and the rest of the season. Is it right that Clemson making it into the ACC championship, winning, is there enough havoc to be had in front of them for them to make another run back at the 4?
Yeah, maybe. And like I said, I think you can make the same argument for North Carolina because realistically, the only 2-loss team that's got a shot right now is LSU. And they got to go in and beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. They already clinched. They got to handle business this week and then go ahead and beat the Bulldogs. To me, that's the only 2-loss team that's in play. You got to at least have a 0 or a 1 in that column. And then it's going to come down to how TCU finishes the season. They still got a couple gotcha games, I think. I think they got Baylor and Baylor and Iowa State to finish out.
Yep.
And then the Pac-12 is going to have a 1-loss team at least or a 2-loss team. Who knows, right? Out there. Again, that's a really deep conference and, top heavy and they're fighting. So, I think it's just going to be which resume they value, which resume they don't. And I think it's going to be tough for an ACC resume to match up with a Pac-12 resume or even a 1-loss TCU who somehow still wins their conference. You know what I mean?
Yep. Here they come. So far, it's all chalk. 1, 2, 3 is the same as it was last week. Georgia Bulldogs 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan 3.
Yeah, Tennessee's not going anywhere.
Tennessee won't be going anywhere. TCU held serve in a big way, big road win against Texas. Can't see them getting jumped. Really, they have their spot until they fall out of it. Do you think that's fair? TCU basically, they have their spot.
They control their own destiny. Win and you're in.
So who do we think is 5? Tennessee here?
Yeah, Tennessee's staying there.
Which makes 6 SC. We got to be forgetting somebody here. LSU. Oh man, here come them Bayou Bengals.
I don't know if they got enough to jump Tennessee. I mean, Tennessee beat them.
Well, there it is.
The Arkansas one was a little.
The Vols at 5. One of LSU SC or SC LSU. The 2 losses that everybody's record isn't. All records shouldn't count as the same.
Right.
I'm curious here.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
What's your bet?
I'm a bet it's LSU and then SC. That's my bet. That's my bet just because
I think it should be that. I think they go USC LSU. But I agree with you. LSU's 2 losses against what they've done as far as is pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
Christian Hackenberg, big shot there. LSU number 6, up a spot. Trojans at 7, and look at the Trojans. And again, USC, and the rest of these teams will be up there next year. But USC and North Carolina are a year ahead. They're going to come into next year, both of them top 5 teams, and they could be higher than that. Both their quarterbacks return, both coaching. Carolina hadn't gone through a coaching change. USC will only settle with what they've been doing, but it does say a lot, though, here for LSU. It does say a lot.
Yeah.
From where they are at 6, they went out and beat Georgia. They're coming into the dance.
No doubt. I mean, what are their 2 losses? Florida State and Tennessee. Florida State start the year, new coach. There's a lot of unknowns heading into that ball game. And it was, it was a barn burner. Came down to Florida State having to block a go-ahead field goal or a game-tying field goal.
Right.
he leads a freaking awesome, like it was like a 90+ yard drive to go tie the ball game, and kind of a heartbreaker. They bounced back pretty well, and then the Tennessee team, I think they just caught Tennessee hot, fresh
Right.
off a lot of momentum, and they caught them at the wrong time. So I think maybe after that Georgia loss, had that matchup squared up, it might be a little bit different.
So I think I'm trying to read these captions here with Herb Street. The SEC is going to really clog this up. If LSU wins out, beats Georgia, they're coming in. That will give Georgia their first loss. And by that point, it could be the number 5 or number 6 team, maybe 4 team. Georgia's in. And if Tennessee runs the table, what happened? What are you going to do with Tennessee? They're out?
I think Tennessee's out just because of what it is, right? I think if you have a couple other people trip up, and then, like you were saying, the bridesmaid, they could slip in there in one of those crazy situations. But I think then again, at the same token, you can make the same argument if the Ohio State-Michigan game's close, whomever is the loser of that one will be sitting there not being able to go beat up on somebody from the West over there in the Big Ten, and then get their way in. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking at least if LSU goes in and beats Georgia, you're talking 2 SEC teams for sure, the Big Ten champion, and then it leaves you one spot to duke it out between a TCU team who controls their own destiny, a possible one-loss Pac-12 team, and then similarly a possible one-loss ACC champion.
So who is Tennessee going for? Tennessee's got to be pulling for Georgia to win this whole thing outright.
Yep. Yeah, they got to.
And same with the 2 Big Ten teams. They got to be also – LSU throws a wrench in everybody's plans.
Yeah. They got the blender. They can mix the whole damn thing up.
And are you rolling with me that you cannot send the SEC conference champ home? I don't care if they come in with however they get to the title game, if they win it, it's still a feat.
100%. But that's the precedent that they've also set, right? Like, I mean, they've taken the loser from the West, if it was in Alabama or Georgia, they've already done that. They've set that precedent, right? So, like, if there's 2 dogs that have earned it in the SEC, they're going to take it.
Done it. Correct.
And then it's whomever else wants to join the party at that point.
Man, this is I mean, this is going to be a lot of drama. Just about everybody the only 2 teams that can afford a loss and still look forward to this. It sounds strange, but let me know what you think. Georgia could afford a loss and still make it.
Yep.
Michigan, if they lose close, because it's a road game. Yeah. I think if Ohio State loses at home, now we're just assuming everybody plays it straight and everybody's competitive, like we don't have a nuclear fallout, then Ohio State might be out. Michigan could turn and say, hey, we only lost to Ohio State. We'll take that 4 spot and head on home. Just give us that 4 spot. Everybody else, the TCU will not have that grace. It'd be curious to see what happens with who would Tennessee have legs enough to hop a 1-loss Michigan team who lost on the road at Ohio State. That'll be some drama.